From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Hamas says it is reviewing a new Israeli proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza as Egypt intensifies efforts to broker a deal to end the months-long war and stave off a possible Israeli ground offensive into the southern Gaza city of Rafah. The Israeli military has massed dozens of tanks and armored vehicles near the border and hit targets in the city in near-daily airstrikes. Early this morning, an Israeli airstrike hit a house in Rafah's Tel Sultan neighborhood, killing 6 people, including 4 children. That's according to officials at a local hospital. Meantime, students at Stanford University in Northern California have joined the protests at campuses across America against Israel's war in Gaza. The university has threatened students that are demonstrating with suspensions and possible arrest. Young-Soo Kim is a 21-year-old student at Stanford and says they're not leaving.
We must fight for each other to stop genocide, to stop the senseless killing of people, to stop crimes against humanity.
As the death toll mounts in the war in Gaza, protesters are demanding that schools cut financial ties to Israel and divest from companies they say are enabling the conflict. Some Jewish students say the protests have veered into anti-Semitism and made them afraid to set foot on campus. Back home now, the Globe and Mail has won big at the National Newspaper Awards.
It won nods in 7 of the 23 regular categories, and the Globe and Mail's Doug Saunders was named Journalist of the Year after spending weeks traveling the world's most contested migration routes for a deep look at the migration crisis. La Presse and the Toronto Star both won 3 awards last night, and the Brandon Sun and the Narwhal each had 2. 13 other news outlets received 1 award each, including the Canadian Press, which was recognized in the investigations category for a project examining workplace abuse at Canada's spy agency. Brenda Molina Navidad, the Canadian Press.
Efforts towards an ambitious global treaty to end plastic waste could be making headway. Negotiators from 175 nations are in Ottawa hammering out the finer details, with an agreement supposed to be finalized this fall in Korea. One major sticking point, however, is a cap on the production of plastics. In 2020, Canada produced more than 7.1 million tons of plastic, and only 5% of it was recycled material. Almost 5 million tons of plastic ended up as waste, with less than 10% of it recycled. And finally, Russia has launched a new barrage of missiles against Ukraine directed at energy infrastructure. The country's energy minister said 1 facility in the south and 2 in the west had been attacked. A psychiatric hospital was also damaged, with 1 person wounded after the latest missile strike hit Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Colorado Avalanche scored 3 goals in a span of 6 minutes early in the third period, en route to a 6-2 win over the Jets. Winnipeg will get a chance to even the first-round playoff series in Game 4 Sunday afternoon. JT Miller had a goal and an assist as the Vancouver Canucks edged the Nashville Predators 2-1, retaking the lead in their first-round playoff series up 2-1. And in the late game, the Edmonton Oilers defeated the Los Angeles Kings 6-1, taking a 2-1 lead in their best-of-7. Over to the Diamond now. Shohei Ohtani smashed a homer as the Los Angeles Dodgers routed the Toronto Blue Jays 12-2. Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry held on to a 4-way share of the lead in the Zurich Classic of New Orleans. That's a PGA Tour's only team event, shooting a 2 under 70. Among those, a stroke back were Canadians Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin, as well as Corey Connors and Taylor Pendrith. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.